at a very young age, I moved up to Vancouver, Canada, and my mom was pursuing nursing over there. So I got to experience the city and going to a school with a lot more kids, but that's when my art took off. I started art literally at a young age. I was actually probably 8 years old, and what actually happened was I picked up some sidewalk chalk, man, and I was visiting my dad. My parents were broken up at the time, so every week I got to go see my dad, and my dad would give me this sidewalk like chalk, and I would just start drawing on the sidewalk over and over again. But I started to draw a crowd of people. So then out of nowhere, I was like, hey, I might be pretty good at doing artwork. So I ended up, getting into pencil crayons, watercolors. And then by the age of 12, I actually was selling my artwork to folks. And it would be, the occasional Bob Ross kind of mountains, nice, beautiful mountainscape. And then I started doing underwater artwork. And then I realized when I was in my mid-teens, that I was like, I'm going to become at the time, I just thought I was an artist, but it would be a concept artist, creating such fun little shapes for people, either in their own stories or in their own imagination. And I would just fall in love with creating, man. So by the age of 20, man, I was blessed enough to receive a job in the art industry, man. And I started to do a couple of things. My uncle worked at EA Games. And man, it was an inspiration to me because he also was a concept artist in the industry. So that's kind of where I got started, was the family of just some pretty good support. And of course, people always, a lot of people were like, this is not a real job, which I understand where people were coming from, because being an artist could be really hard, man. But ever since I was 25, I officially started to do more of, you would say, working in the industry. I started off at a place called Thinking Box in Vancouver, Canada, and it would just be a marketing kind of activation company that would promote movies from Paramount to Lionsgate. It was just a cool environment, but my job specifically was to be a concept artist, to concept what these activations would look like. So they would be taking my drawings and creating it. And what happened was, as time moved on, a lot of artists were kind of getting other jobs. And then I had another friend of mine who moved over to Lucasfilm, man, and he's like, Shane, you gotta start drawing some Star Wars stuff, because we can get you into this in doing art with Lucasfilm. And then the company Topps picked me up, so I started doing all of this Star Wars Topps cards, and it was really awesome. And then as time moved on, I would jump from contract to contract, and then now I'm with Horrible Future, and still doing these amazing ships, but also have the blessing of working in this new contract I have with Fancy Flight Games. So another fun card game coming out. And then as time moved on, I worked a lot in the city, and I started having, I couldn't see my kids anymore. So that was the thing. I got married, I had 2 kids, but I rarely saw them because I was so into work, and I would, be taking the subway all the way in the city. Then one time, my contract expired, and they said, hey man, do you want to renew it? But they said I could work at home. So I told my wife, let's go all the way back home to Hawaii. So I came all the way back here. My family was stoked here. And then of course, here we are. But I got to get grounded in my roots again of, in Hawaii, the land is called the Aina. So we ended up trying to teach our kids where our food comes from. So I actually got to be a part of the ocean and water on Big Island. So I did a lot of learning from my grandpa, fishing and spearfishing. And spearfishing in Hawaii is the most sustainable way to properly get your food. A lot of people are like, oh my goodness, that's so bad. You shouldn't do that, man. But in the world of spearfishing, instead of dropping a net and either damaging the reef or taking fish you don't even need, we're only targeting one fish, or the fish we have enough to feed our family. So Shane ended up getting into spearfishing, man. So of course, this is where Dive or Die Hawaii ended up becoming our business. But I do a lot of spearfishing, surfing, you know, being part of the ocean, but also giving back to the community, and also, you know, feeding the kids. It helps out with the kids. So in 2017, man, my uncle Kevin knew the landlord of this building, and the buildings in Hilo, they're very old. So a lot of places, if they're gonna open up, they would be absolutely expensive because of everyone repairing these structures in Hilo. But my uncle said, hey, Shane, I'm gonna talk to my friend and open up a little studio for you to work at. So long story short, I'll have to show you some pictures, man, but we turned this closet of a space into this little studio of Shane's artwork, man, and I would work out of here. And then this would be one of the most turning points in my art career. I got this email way back, it was last year. I remember it was just the beginning of summer, I believe, from this guy named Chris Northrop. And it said, hey, we're working on a great book. This is all the artists. And I get a lot of, you get a lot of emails, a lot of, scam emails too. But the moment I clicked on Chris's email, he was representing Magnetic Press and said he's working with a good friend from Horrible Future. And I got hooked really fast. And I immediately drew a spaceship for them. And I sent it back to Chris. And Mark's like, hey man, this guy is awesome. Let's see what else he can do. So it was a good connection, and I felt like Mark and Chris brought in such an amazing work environment for me, because they were like, here's what we need, just go with it, man. Just create what your mind would see from our notes. And that's how my relationship started, man, was just a one click of an email. They found me through ArtStation. And it was the best email ever, man. Of course, living on an island, everyone's gonna know you fast. So people started talking. They were like, hey, there's this brother with this really wicked shop, man. You gotta go check it out, man. It's got a lot of amazing fan art. He's doing like commission work. And the story ended up happening. And by 2019, man, this place started getting really popular, man.